Welcome back to The World is Your Campus, where we explore the global education landscape and spotlight the opportunities shaping the future of international students. I'm Aaron, and today's episode is titled Europe Rising Navigating New Frontiers in Higher Education. This one's brought to you by Fragomen Educational Services, or FES for short. FES is a specialized arm of Fragomen that helps students and universities navigate international education and immigration. Whether it's choosing the right study destination, understanding visa options, or planning for long term settlement, FES is all about making global education accessible and strategic. Now, Europe is quickly becoming the go to destinations for international students. Over 1.4 million international students are currently studying in Europe. It's not just about world class universities or affordable tuition, it's about the lifestyle, the freedom, the real possibility of building a future there. Joining me today are two experts from Fragomen who know the space inside out. Antoons is partner and managing director at Fragomen's Brussels office. She leads Fragomen Consulting Europe and advises governments, institutions, and students on immigration strategy. She is also a part of the European Commission's expert group on economic migration and regularly contributes to studies for the OECD and IOM. Joining us is also Elisabeth Kamm, who's an immigration supervisor at Fragomen Consulting Europe, based in Paris. She's worked with OECD and the Council of Europe and now helps students and professionals navigate Europe's mobility landscape. She's also a regular voice in Fragomen's insights on EU immigration reforms. And Elisabeth will be taking us through what's changing in Europe's education scene, why it matters, and what it means for students looking to study and stay in Europe. Over to you, Elisabeth.
Thank you so much, Aaron, and thanks for having us today. So let's start with the big picture. Europe seems to be drawing more international students than ever. What do you see as driving this trend?
Well, Elisabeth, there are several factors. Affordability is a major one, of course. Tuition fees are often much lower in Europe than in the US or the UK. And there are also a wide range of scholarships. Plus, you see the rise of fully English taught programs that has Europe made even more accessible.
Absolutely. And then we also hear and see of Europe's aging population, and there's a real need for young, skilled talent. And so what we often see is also that many initiatives, some students like universities, aim not only to attract students, but also to help them then stay and contribute after graduation.
Yeah, and I think that is what's often overlooked, is how Europe offers much more than just academics. There is a strong emphasis on personal freedom, diversity, and quality of life. It's not just about getting a degree. It's all about experience of living in a society that values inclusion and opportunity.
Very true. So then when we look at Europe's educational landscape, it is incredible diverse and a lot to take in for any student and for international students in particular. So what would you say? What should students keep in mind when choosing where they study?
I think what we can say for Europe is that the flexibility is key. Each country, each university and program has its own strengths. Some are leaders in STEM, others in arts or entrepreneurship. And I would say it's also worth looking beyond the big names universities.
Yeah, I fully agree. I've seen some great programs in regions or smaller, maybe less well-known cities, and they offer what we already talked about in terms of affordability, but also really strong industry links and vibrant international communities.
Yeah, and I think what we need to say is that language plays an important role too. I mean, English is obviously widely used, but learning the local language can open doors, not only professionally, but also personally. And many universities actually support this with language schools and integration services.
Yes, indeed. And something else to add, and we should not forget, is the mobility, which is quite unique in Europe. With programs such as Erasmus+, students can study across multiple countries and they can graduate with a degree that is recognized across the EU. So that's a huge advantage if you choose to study somewhere, it doesn't mean you cannot also complete part of your studies in another European country. Okay, so then let's talk about employability, because this is a very key topic. How is Europe preparing students for the job market? We know that for many, the decision to study abroad is really closely tied also to their future career prospects.
So what we see, of course, in Europe as well is that universities are aligning education with labor market needs, especially in fast-growing sectors like the green tech and the digital innovation. And the career services are proactive, offering internships, co-ops, and employer partnerships.
And also to add, thanks to European law, international students can also work part-time already during their studies. So this can help financially, but equally important, it also builds experience, it also builds networks. So I've seen many students, including myself, actually using this to start building your careers and networks early on during studies.
Yeah, and it's important to highlight that this is in every single European country, as you said. So I mean, exactly to your point, I mean, thanks to that European law, students can work at least 15 hours a week, and this in every single European country. And on top of that, that same European law, the EU Students and Researchers Directive, allows students after graduation to stay for at least 9 months to look for a job or to start a business. And there are countries where actually this 9 months is extended to 2 years. So, and entrepreneurship is encouraged, and we see researchers finding opportunities in both the academic world, but also in the industry.
Yes, and getting back to that point, it's also impressive how integrated the system is. We already mentioned you can study your core study course in one country and then also do some exchange abroad elsewhere. But also employers generally value the graduates no matter where you come from in Europe, because you're often skilled with the curriculum in this country, you're often multilingual, you're already familiar with the local culture, with the work environment. So yeah, there are so many benefits to studying in one of the European countries. Okay, so then let's shift gears a bit. Now for all the students listening in, especially those that consider moving abroad, how can now studying in Europe truly shape their future path? Not just in terms of academics, but maybe in the broader sense of life, of career, of their long-term opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, for many, it starts as a short-term plan, going abroad for study, but often becomes the first step towards building a life here in Europe, because most European countries offer pathways to bring family, to work after graduation, and move forward towards permanent residency and even citizenship, EU citizenship.
And once you have EU citizenship, it really opens doors across all member states. So your opportunities don't stop at the borders of one country you studied in, they then expand across the entire union.
Yeah, so here's the takeaway. Choosing Europe is not just about earning a degree. It's about opening the door to future of work, family, and belonging across an entire continent of 27 EU countries. And add to that Europe's quality of life and diverse environments. And you know why Europe is a great destination.
Thank you, Jo. That was great insights, and I really enjoyed diving into these topics with you.
Yeah, same here. I think we have given our listeners a lot to think about.
Absolutely. So thanks for the chat, and to everyone listening in. We'll see you next time with more insights and stories from the field. And until then, take care and keep exploring.
Yeah. And to our listeners, remember, studying abroad is never just about geography. It's about perspective, opportunity, and the life you want to build. Stay tuned for our next episode.